Oh no, this place is great and all. I just didn't expect it to be so Chinese. I saw Ninja 2 the other day, and my god, was it a masterpiece. I'm not even exaggerating. You guys have seen all the hype around this film. It is absolutely, like, true. This movie is genuinely one of the greatest animated films I've ever seen in a very, very long time. It is, without a doubt, breathtaking and joyful to watch and just so much fun. It's such a cool fucking movie, and I strongly recommend everyone go watch it. Now, yes, this film is in Chinese, so you will have to read. Oh, the horror. Oh no, you have to read. Sorry. Until this film gets dubbed, that's your only option. You can watch the first one dubbed in English free on YouTube with ads, but I actually don't recommend people doing that because I actually didn't really find the first film's dubbing to be really that great. I mean, it was fine for what it was, but there was just some times where I was just like, this could be so much better. And that's typically like the thing when it comes to foreign like dubbed films. It's like, I mean, except for Ghibli films, but like half or if not all the times, America just does not give a shit about voice acting, so they just hire whoever the fuck. And yeah, with that, I did watch the first Ninja movie to get an idea of what's going to happen in the second one. It's definitely needed. You definitely need to understand the lore, but the second film does a good job of explaining the setup and summarizes what happens in the first film. But I do recommend people still watch the first one. It's okay. I'd give it a 7 out of 10, maybe a 7.5. It had a lot of issues, but it doesn't really matter because this second film, holy shit, the one we're talking about today, it is so much better than the first one, and it improves on so much. Just like my review with Better Man, I'm going to tell you guys right now, this film is fucking awesome. It is a 10 out of 10. I thought this movie did everything right and improved on so much. And I'm just so happy that it exists because now Disney finally has some fucking competition. And from China, of all places. How ironic. First off, the animation, like I said, it is such a massive, and I mean massive upgrade from the first film. The first film really kind of looked a little bad in some areas. It wasn't like horrible for like 2019, or I think it was 2021. For its time, it was fine. I didn't want to say it was like it looked at AI generated because that's not really fair to that film. If anything, AI uses that film to generate its things, but it just didn't seem right. It was still good, but it just looked a bit off at times. But this film, holy shit, there's so many types of animation that they use. Like there's like they use like the low frame rate animation style. There's a paintbrush art style, and then just in general, its 3D animation is just so good. It is such a gorgeous and pretty movie to look at, and honestly, I wish I could just have the film just to have in the background because it is so much. It is just so good to look at. It's so pretty. Yeah, it's good. Animation, fucking outstanding. Very pretty, very good. I loved it. Story-wise, it takes place after the first film where the stakes are a bit raised, and it deals with the dragons coming to threaten Ninja's homeland, but something happens to where they need to strike a bargain to get like this healing potion. I don't want to say too much, but it involves going on an adventure to beat these trials to gain access to this potion, and this is where we find the two main characters, Ninja and I want to say Aya. Wait, hold up. Albin is his name. He and Ninja are the two main characters. After the events of the first film, they gotta, fix themselves, get themselves back together, and they do come up with a small solution, but it doesn't really work out for the majority of the film, but that's all I'm really gonna say. The story is just really good. To go to these amazing places that you just want to know so much more about, and you just want to like see more scenes in, and like with the animation, they're just very beautiful, and it really helps expand the universe of this world of Ninja, which is really good because when a sequel, like one of the main things you want to do is expand the world that you're in. So yeah, it's really good to see them actually take advantage of this and actually like go to some new place instead of just staying in the same city that we were used to from the first one. Other returning characters include Ninja's parents, who play a very important role in this film. I don't really want to say anything else besides that, but they're definitely very important, and you definitely will care for them. They're definitely not going to be just some parents of the main character who just, become pointless after the first film. Yeah, they definitely stay important and relevant to the story. Before I continue, I'm going to most likely butcher every single one of these characters' names, and I'm probably going to mix some of them. So this is your warning. I apologize in advance. There are times where I just truly cannot get these names right, and I apologize. Shen returns, and he is way more developed. We actually find out that he has more family members, which I feel like the first film, it feels like he has like a lot of family members, but then again, that could just be like a metaphor. He actually has like other family members that shows up in this film who become really important to his character development and influences how he is in this film. Tai Yi, I believe it's pronounced, doesn't really do too much in the first half of this film, but it's definitely going to be important during like the third act, I will say. It is nice to see this character not voiced by Mike Pollock, so hey, that's good. Ao Bin's father, who is like the king of the dragons, or like the dragon lord, I believe. I don't know which one it was. He has a major role in this film, and I really loved his performance. Again, I was really hoping this film doesn't just have this dad be evil for the sake of evil. We really got to see this character's true motives and how he really felt towards his son. He really is a caring father who wants to just do what's right for his race and his like dragon species. So yeah, they did really good on the characters. There are some other new characters, but it's not really important to talk about right now. I thought the music was also just really fun. There was a lot of times where the music was, very good, very fast-paced. It really kept up with the, the scene, so that was done pretty well. I really want to listen to this music when I get a chance on the Spotify. Hopefully there is a Spotify playlist. I don't know. Voice acting always did a great job. I should have mentioned it earlier. Everyone did a really great job. I don't know any of these voice actors, but I thought they all did a really great job. I really, unfortunately, can't say more than that. No one really stood out as a really bad voice actor. Yeah, definitely watch this if you can. If you really can't read, or if you don't prefer that, you can wait for the dub. Maybe it'll come out soon. I really don't have any info on that, but yeah, the Chinese voice actors, they all did an amazing job. The writing for this film really did a great job, because these types of films, I'm always worried that they're going to explain too much, or they're going to set too much up, and that it's also going to be a bit confusing. And I was worried going into the film around 20 minutes in, and I was worried, oh, this is going to be a very convoluted plotline, but it made sense the more it went on. They did set up things that did become important. I'm not going to say too much, but there's these, I don't know what they were, but they were like gumballs. They were like these items that you just heard about, but you were confused, like, oh, why are they here? What are they for? And then it made sense as to what they were being used for and how they were even being made. We got answers from the first movie that I was confused about like, why is it taking so long for to reach the heavens areas? Why is it 1 day to 1 year conversion? And that was answered in this film. It did make sense, so that was pretty good. We even got to see some other reveals that were set up in the first film regarding Ne Zha's extended family, and again, it just made sense as to why it was set the way it was. And other than that, the journey was just fun. It wasn't hard to understand. There were a lot of times, these types of films, you do have to keep reading and looking, and they had a good, mix of action pieces where you didn't really need to read. You could just know what they're doing or know what they're saying. So yeah, overall, writing did a really good job, and anyone who doesn't really like these types of films or you have to read a lot, I think you'll be just fine watching this one. That's assuming also that you've seen the first one. This isn't too much of a spoiler, but they do go more into the whole humans versus demons story plotline that they somewhat set up in the first film. You really got to see who these demon people were outside of Shen Tang Pass. In the first film, it felt like this, film series is taking a lot of inspiration from other medias. And again, like I mentioned before, I don't really want to say these things. It's really hard to it's really harsh to accuse, someone of not being creative, because, maybe this is what they truly thought of and they truly had this original idea. I'm not going to say who I thought they were copying off of. If you watch the first film, you may get an idea. But the second film, now I'm kind of on the opposite end. I kind of am glad they're I'm kind of being reminded of other IPs and franchises. There's so many things about this film that is just so fucking cool, and I think it all fits. I know this film takes a lot from Chinese mythology, so we can have that discussion of who stole who from what. It doesn't even really matter, to be honest. It doesn't matter either way. This story's like universe or its world, it's very good, it's very unique, and well, I don't know about unique, but it's very good, and it's definitely something I want to see more of. And who even knows, there was a little joke in this film about how long, there's like a time skip joke. I'm not going to spoil it, but who knows when the next one's coming. But I definitely cannot wait for the third one. I thought everything about this film was just done amazing. Editing, pacing, animation, especially camera shots, cinematography, everything of the film itself is just so good, so beautiful. I thought it was really well done. And like I said earlier, it's a 10 out of 10 film. And I don't want to say anything else after that. I really do think people should see this film. Like, it is so good, and it is definitely one of my favorite animated film franchises, and I really can't wait to see what happens next. And like I mentioned earlier, this is really good that this movie exists. It really shows that there are, well, first off, there's a lot of things. One, there are countries out there who can make good films. I know a lot of people on Twitter just automatically say this movie is fake, or that it's AI generated, or say some horrible shit about it and say like its numbers are like inflated, it's not real, and they give no proof whatsoever, and that, oh, because this isn't made in America, it has no right being this good or getting this much money, so it must be this bad. What a fucking horrible thing to say. What a fucking stupid thing to say. Just because a film is made in China, or just because anything is made in China, it can't be good. Because everyone knows everything made in America is so amazing and so perfect. 10 out of 10. Everything America makes is awesome. And the other thing, this is good for competition, because lately Disney, it seems like, has just been getting fucking lazier and lazier as time goes. I mean, that's kind of always been the case for the last 15 years. I mean, even just today, they just announced they canceled a Tiana series on Disney Plus, conveniently right after Black History Month, so good job, Disney. Go fuck yourself. Now, I wasn't like the biggest fan of Princess and the Frog. In fact, I actually didn't even know that they were even going to make a Tiana series. What was in the harm of doing this? It's not like Disney isn't afraid of pushing out shit that they know is going to fail. In fact, they did that with Moana 2. They probably didn't have any confidence in it, so they said, fuck it, let's just turn it into a film. Maybe that's what they're doing with the TV series. Maybe they're turning it into a film. I don't know. I feel like I know for a fact there's people's been wanting more from Princess and the Frog, and now they're not even getting that. And another big FU to Disney, they lost the animated award in the Oscars, and that makes 3 years now. So honestly, I don't know. Disney is just doing this to themselves. I don't know if there's any political sway into this situation. Whatever the case may be, I'm glad Ne Zha is a thing, and I'm glad it destroyed Disney, and hopefully we get to see some other animated films that get some recognition, and honestly, just anything at all. Anything besides Disney. So thank you, Ne Zha. Thank you for putting Disney and kicking it down to second place, because Inside Out 2 still made a shit ton of money. And this movie is making a shit ton of money too. I'm pretty sure it passed $2 billion, which is fucking insane. So yeah, everyone, please go and watch this film. It is fucking amazing. If you can, try to watch the first one. It's free on YouTube with ads, and it's in English. The first one will be recapped if you decide to watch the second one. Please go and watch this movie. Support the animators. Support this industry. And honestly, take this opportunity to just go out and see other films made by other directors. Mickey 17 is a film that's going to be directed by I don't even know his name, but he made The Parasite, which is also an amazing film. Please go watch these films. Go outside, your comfort zone. Try something new. See, visions from other people. Anything besides Disney. And go watch Better Man while you're at it. So, yep, that's everything I wanted to say. What did you guys think? Let me know down below. I'll see you in another review.